I've started coming around on the draft pick, and you Georgia people have persuaded me that this guy's going to be okay.
Well, I think you got Isaiah Wilson, if I recall correctly, and I actually had him going much higher than he went. I had him, I think, going middle of the first round. And you guys, I think you're going to be really happy. You're going to be really happy with him. I mean, he's I think he started over 40 games as a Georgia Bulldog, playing in the best conference in the whole country, and it was part of an offensive line that was probably if not definitely the top 5 in the nation. You saw that they had another offensive tackle taken 4th overall. So I think you're going to be really happy come the first of the season, whenever that is. So I mean, Isaiah Wilson, he's a former Dog, but man, he's going to be a Titan now, and I think you're going to see a lot of production out of him for sure. So you should be happy.
Okay, all right.
Don't worry. I know.
But surely.
I know you were concerned. You were concerned last night. I could hear it in your voice. Not only were you concerned because you were up past your bedtime, but to get that Titans pick in there. But I sensed some concern, and I had to kind of calm you down. I had to talk you off the ledge last night. And all you other Titan fans out there, and I'm a Titan fan as well. I follow them, and I think they did okay. Now, Falcons, on the other hand, all I've seen today are video clips of A.J. Terrell getting torched by just about every wideout in the ACC, including multiple wideouts from LSU and Ohio State, or whoever was else that they played in the college football playoff. But, I mean, it's typical. I mean, this guy was maybe the 3rd best corner in the draft, and they take him immediately off the board. When I think they probably could have gotten him later. I think a lot of people here would have liked to have seen it. Once Kinlaw came off the board, I almost was feeling that, hey, it'll be fine if they went offense, because they could have probably picked up another weapon. I mean, heck, they could have gotten a running back, because, Atlanta, they did get Todd Gurley, but we don't know what we're getting in Todd Gurley, really. He's definitely not the player that he was 2 years ago. He went in, you saw him fall off last year. He didn't get a lot of touches, and C.J. Henderson got most of the carries there in the postseason. So 2 years ago, and his production was down. So they didn't pay a lot of money for him. So maybe that's what they're thinking, that they'll get some production out of him. I don't know, but a lot of people here were not happy with the A.J. Terrell pick. I thought they could have maybe gotten somebody else, linebacker. I don't know, man. It just there's a lot of mixed feelings on Atlanta social media right now, and they all seem to stem around that A.J. Terrell pick. But when you're middle first round, it's a crapshoot. You've got to really do your homework, and you got to look at all the intangibles about guys. And it's hard to really. Most of those guys you're not going to have somebody fall like when they picked up the team that got Tristan Wirfs. I mean, he fell from probably what I thought was going to be 4 or 5, or no lower than 7, all the way to 13 or 14. So, that's, I think when we look at it now, we're still continuing to watch the draft right now in the 2nd round. And you mentioned, Paul, the one team that you thought has really won so far.
Who did I say?
Well, you said the Dolphins, man.
The Dolphins.
I got to agree with you. I mean, they just picked up a stud from Alabama.
Absolutely.
Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle. Man, oh man. Yeah. I mean, they just continue to add to their roster, and with Tom Brady leaving, I mean, I think the division opens up. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks that are in that division now. You've got Josh Allen, you got Sam Darnold. Now you got Tua with Miami and New England. Maybe it's Jared Stidham. Who knows who it's going to be? Actually, that was a surprise to me because I kind of thought that New England might get Jordan Love, and that ends up being one of the big, I think, one of the huge surprises of the round, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you got to be thinking, hey, how about maybe drafting a receiver for me or a running back or maybe a tight end, somebody I can throw to? How about stabbing me in the back, right?
Oh, I mean, the guy has to feel like he's just been totally betrayed. Now, he's a big boy, and he'll get over it. But, I mean, he just signed a 4-year contract. Give him something to work with other than Devontae Adams and some of these 5th and 6th round guys that happened to play really well for him last year. But holy cow, I mean, if I'm him, I'm upset.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's not like the Packers only won 4 games last year. They won 13.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, give him another weapon on the outside, that he can develop. I mean, he's got his running back, Jones is great, had a great year last year, but it's, I don't know, it baffled me. That pick baffled me. And the fact they traded up to do it baffles me even more. Because I don't know, maybe if they really saw something in this guy, that would be the only reason to do that. And, it's one of these things that you look at the draft as a whole, and there's a few head-scratching sort of picks, and everybody wants to deconstruct the Miami taking Tua. I think that's probably the smartest pick in the draft because you didn't have to trade up to get him. And a year ago today, I mean, he was everybody's consensus number 1 pick. And it was tanking for Tua, and they got him at number 5. So, I think that's I mean, the Dolphins they're winning this draft right now, and they've got a lot more picks to go. So that opens up that division for them. And I think I would say if Tua is healthy and playing, they could win that division very easily. It's kind of a toss-up, but it puts them in the conversation.
And I'll tell you another team I think has done a pretty good job. I mean, he's sitting on a $250 million yacht, but the Cowboys seem to be doing pretty good.
Well, it's funny because, in my opinion, it's funny because a good friend of mine, we just had Kerry Ward turns 50 tomorrow, and we just had a Zoom birthday party for him a couple hours ago. And he's from Texas. He's a huge Cowboys fan. And I was like, CeeDee Lamb, and he wasn't happy with CeeDee Lamb.
Wow.
I don't understand why he wasn't happy with him because, I mean, he's a good pickup now. I think he's a quality receiver. He played at the highest level, making the college football playoff, and he's got a lot of skills, man. I just think that I think he's a good pick. Now, as far as second round goes, have they picked in the second round yet?
Yes, they have.
Who did they get?
I know we gave you a hard time about your YouTube TV, but last night
everybody is
in our round
all
1
over me about the YouTube TV.
They had pick number 51, Trayvon Diggs, cornerback, Alabama. You know him?
Oh yeah, I
can't.
I had him going at the end of the first round. That is a big time pickup.
That's why I'm saying I think, man, the Cowboys are starting to make some noise.
That's impressive, man.
Really
impressive.
Some of the biggest news of the whole night. We talked about Aaron Rodgers and his getting his feelings hurt a little bit, but the best news that came out of Tennessee was the way Mike Vrabel represented the Titans in his pick. I mean, he had Mr. Freeze, one of his kids was, his other son was wearing his old Pro Bowl jersey,
wearing his Pro Bowl jersey with the full grown mullet going there. Yeah,
and then there was a little thing going on Twitter that somebody was in the background using the restroom. I'm sure you saw it. It was off a mirror, and I think it turned out to be somebody sitting on a stool in his kitchen, and so it was just the way the camera reflected.
It was a bad look, though. Yeah, it was definitely it was a bad look. But yeah, we had several reactions from several different people who were on with us watching our live stream last night, talking about everything from I mentioned Jerry Jones on his submarine looked like social distancing on the same couch, and then you had individuals talking about Vrabel's, everything that was in the back, and then of course you and I going after Roger Goodell in his 1970s wood paneled basement. But the interesting part was, I think, if a lot of the people like betting on certain things in the draft. I know my buddy Terry said that the over under on the number of dogs in the camera shots was 3.5, and I think he took the under on that, and I think he won, because I don't remember seeing any dogs in any shots, which is actually kind of surprising.
It's amazing how sports betting, just people, how desperate they're getting. I had a buddy of mine that took the over on quarterbacks taken in the first round at 4.5, and came up a little short.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him. I bet he was really liking that Jordan Love pick, because that got him close.
Got him close.
And that's what's another interesting take from this is there was a record set, 15 SEC players taken in last night's draft. Sets a record for one conference. You had 5 guys from LSU, 4 guys from Alabama, and of course you had Kinlaw, and you had the Georgia Bulldogs going as well. But I mean, really, did you expect anything else? That's where all the talent is,
Sure.
So I'm not really surprised that record was broken. But we had so many people commenting last night. It was great to get on Facebook Live and with our episode and reach out to some folks I hadn't heard from in years, and people.
And they continue to do it.
Yeah, they continue to do it.
And we our I would say our core group is back in our Facebook Live feed.
Yeah.
Now, which one of I forget, which one is the Patriots guy?
Wes Bass. Is Wes Bass with us tonight?
And I tell you what, the Patriots just traded up, and they're about to select. I need to take my glasses off. I don't,
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Cyclops is back.
Back, yeah. Now, Wes Bass, what do you think about that pick? I won't say anything just because I know that Freeman.
I don't have it yet. I don't have it. But here I want to say something about their first pick in the second round, the safety from Lenoir-Rhyne. I'm interested to see Wes comment on that. Are you getting the comments right now, Paul?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to get some of these in here. But
I tell you what, it's
I'd be interested to see what Wes has to say about that.
Well, he took Michigan linebacker. Do you see it yet?
Guess I'm starting to get some of these in here. I don't. Hold on. Yeah, I'm getting them now. Tim is in it. Darren Cooper is back on with us, and Wes. The more Vrabel, he had the Vrabel parties. That was from last night. But I guess, the Darren mentioned about the wideouts. Yeah, there were a lot of wideouts taken. There was a run on those guys right around the mid level where you had, Ruggs being the first one taken off the board. I was impressed with him. The highlights they were showing of him playing basketball. This guy is an absolute high flyer. He's posterizing guys left and right. But we'll see. We'll see if and it looks like and the Falcons got a guy that in the second round, Marlon Davidson. There's been a lot of talk about him. He's out of Auburn. Played side by side with Derek Brown. And Wes has given me some info on the kid from Lenoir-Rhyne. He was He was the D2 Defensive Player of the Year. And the only reason why he was D2 is because when he was a freshman, he was only 5'6".
Wow.
And by the time he graduated, he grew to 6'1", or he would have been a D1 guy. And he's actually a local product here. Whitewater, Georgia, is where he is from. That's where he played his high school football. So
that's what the Patriots do so well, man. They do their homework really well. It seems like
they got the best scouting department by far, and it shows up every year, and you see it in the post. That's why they get there. They have the ability, and everybody questions them. Why? Whoa, man! They just traded out of the first round. Well, Wes just told us last night that's what they do. I mean, that's their MO. If they're not comfortable where they're at, they're going to find somebody that wants to get up there and give up. I think they got an additional second-round pick and an additional third-round pick for trading up. So, again, I'm never going to question, their mindset or their what's going on in their head, because they do it better than anybody else. They do draft day better than anybody. So who's Tim talking about? Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin. I just asked him. I don't know if he can provide us any information, Tim. Jeremy Chin. I mean, is that Jeremy Lin? I don't. Did he switch over?
I don't know. He's a two-sports star, I guess. I don't know. But.
All right, he's calling it. Tim Reed is calling it. Titans are. I mean, they're the next pick. So
apparently, here's the interesting. Now, I think somewhere down the line, somebody that needs a running back, Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt, even though he had a huge workload. I mean, he's going to be a good player because he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield. Okay, so we got confirmation from Tim. It's actually his cousin. All right.
He's just kidding.
Yeah, I know he's messing around. I know he's messing around, but that's.
Oh man.
Oh geez, but I see that also the Steelers picked up Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame, the wide receiver. That's going to be a good pickup for them. But I think the steal of the second round is, like you said, the Trayvon Diggs pick. I mean, I had him going like 20 picks earlier in the first round. And you notice too that the Rams immediately replaced Todd Gurley with
absolutely.
And I like the Eagles pick, Jalen Hurts. I like that. He's going into an offense that suits him. And Ravens got them. Dobbins out of Ohio State. That's a good pick.
Well, obviously the Bengals getting T. Higgins is
that was big for them.
Pretty solid. So I mean, Burrow to Higgins, give me a break.
I like the Rams pick, Van Jefferson out of Florida, and the Jets. Man, Denzel Mims dropped way down. I had him going late first round, and then got picked up by the Jets. Patriots get another outside linebacker because they got to replace Van Noy. Here, look at the
all right.
Pick. New in 2020 for the Titans, Vic Beasley led the NFL in sacks.
All right,
in 16.
Oh my goodness.
Let
me tell you something. I know you're behind. Vrabel kept it simple tonight. No kids in the background. John Robinson, the GM, he's got his kids in the background. Here's the only thing I'm going to be disappointed at: if the Titans pick a tight end or something they really don't need right now.
Well, I mean, is Cole Kmet still on the board?
Here we go. I know you're behind, Adam.
I'm way behind.
Pick 61. The Titans select.
You can give it to me.
Christian Fulton, cornerback, LSU.
See, I had him going middle first round. That's a great pickup for them.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great pickup.
And any guy that has his walls of his house painted orange and he's got a fish tank back there, you got it. This guy's pretty solid.
Brees, man, you ought to be on this Roger Goodell split screen, man. You need to be on there with those Titan fans with the moniker in the background. That should be you, man. It should totally be you. All right. Man. Well, let's take a little draft break now that we got the Titans pick here in the second round. Cornerback out of LSU, Christian Fulton, who I had going number 16 overall. I had him actually being a possibility for the Falcons.
Hey,
Him, but no.
it fills a need, and we got him.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Good
61.
pick for you guys. Good pick for you guys. Well, for a lot of guys that were with us throughout the whole broadcast last night when we went live, I shared a story with you guys that my good buddy Josh Jackson reminded me of. When we were in college, we didn't have a lot of money, for doing different things, and splurging was going over to Pizza Perfect and getting a pepperoni sub or whatever. But so we would routinely go to Hundred Oaks Mall. They had converted their movie theater. It was a regular movie theater. It was just a twin, so it only had two theaters, and they converted it to a 99-cent theater. So anybody that is our age knows all about the 99 center. And I think they did it. It used to be where it was just on Sunday nights, and then they just converted the whole thing to 99 center, and they would run like second-rate movies there and stuff, movies that had gone out of the theaters, and they'd run them for 99 cents. So Josh and I one night, we decided that, okay, there's some sort of Jean-Claude Van Damme movie playing, Lionheart or whatever, a Double Impact or whatever it was, karate movie. So we decided, hey man, let's go. We don't have anything to do. Let's go to the 99 center. So we decided we're going to head over there. So we head over there. Parking lot's pretty empty. We pull in, we go in, we pay for our ticket, and we're about to walk in the theater, and the manager comes over and says, he goes, yeah, we're not showing the movie. He goes, we got to take it back to wherever. And he had the case, the big metal case. He's sitting there holding it, and I was like, no. I was like, we just paid for this. I was like, we're watching it. He's like, well, I don't have anybody to run it. I was like, you can't run it? He's like, well, yeah. I was like, well, we paid for the movie. We want to watch it. He goes, there's nobody else here. I said, I don't care. I said, we're here. We're going to watch it. So he goes up. He runs the movie. Me and Josh are the only two guys in the theater. And as Josh mentioned last night, when the movie was over, it was over. I mean, there was no credits at all. It's like the guy didn't even wait for it to slow down. He pulled it off and got it out of there, and made sure we got out of there very quickly so he could get home. But, just another one of those things that you look back and you're like, man, I can't believe I made that guy stay and show us that movie. But it was something that Josh remembered and stuck in his mind. But it was just kind of funny thinking about it last night. I hadn't thought about that in years. But yeah, it was one of those defining moments, I guess. But
Wow.
as we look at this draft, we're continuing to sort of see how are the other professional organizations going to follow, because even though this draft is virtual, it still took place on the same day. So what's the timeline, do you think, Paul, as far as what's going to happen with the seasons and the leagues? And I think it's all going to really center around baseball. What is baseball going to do? And I think the other leagues are going to take their cue from them. What do you think?
Well, once we get our injections of Lysol, we should be all good to go back.
I stopped doing the injections. I just eat the Lysol hand wipes now.
Nice.
I wake up and I'll take a Lysol hand wipe and I'll just eat one a day, and I'll follow that with some tonic water and some zinc tablets, and I think I'm going to be okay. At least that's the general consensus coming from Acworth, Georgia. Just want to send a shout out to Steve and Amy Ross over in Alpharetta, over in Johns Creek. They are watching right now, which good to have some Brentwood Bruins on watching with us. We appreciate you guys, and good to hear from y'all.
Speaking of former Bruin great, Chandler Moody, current long snapper for the Murray State Racers.
Okay.
Who said long snappers couldn't play college ball?
You got to have them, dude.
You got to have them.
You got to have them. We got a great one at our school. Steven Nixon played at Georgia. He played at Mercer, and then there was a grad transfer at Georgia. Played at Georgia this last year. He actually does a lot of camps locally, long snapping camps, because it's a specialty. I mean, not everybody can do it, and it is a special skill, and you've got to have those guys because if just nobody thinks about the long snapper until the punt gets blocked, the extra point gets blocked, somebody rolls one back to the punter, short hops him, and he gets killed. Nobody thinks about the long snapper until it's a mistake made.
And Murray State punts a lot. I think Chandler Moody can attest. I got to give a quick shout out to one of my coworkers, Pat Osga, Philadelphia Eagle fan. I'm sure
What's
she's
he thinking?
like, oh no, Pat, not the female Pat.
Okay, what's she thinking about? What's she thinking?
I'd like to know Pat Osga. Is Pat Osga? Is she thinking Jalen Hurts?
She liking that?
No, I don't know. She's a lovely lady that she's also a 4-star Cracker Barrel employee.
Oh,
you understand what that means, right? They have wear the aprons.
Yeah.
The Cracker Barrels, and they have the stars across.
Okay.
You can't get over 4 stars in Cracker Barrel. She's the top.
Top
of the top.
Another one of my co-workers is watching. Megan Walsh is watching tonight from her palatial digs in Kennesaw. She was part of the birthday party Zoom party that we had earlier today, and she's probably enjoying a land shark right now as we're watching. See, I've already got my second V8 Energy. I'm getting ready to tee it up.
Well, we did get confirmation. Jeremy Shin, Southern Illinois cornerback. Tim Reed, right on the money.
The Salukis out of Carbondale.
That's correct.
Carbondale. This is stone's throw from my stomping grounds up in Western Kentucky.
Listen, I don't know if you have any Green Bay Packer people, but
I do.
They did pick an offensive person this time. A.J. Dillon, running back from Boston College.
I don't understand that. I don't get that. I really don't pick. I mean, you had Jones, who just had a Pro Bowl year last year. He was on my fantasy team. He was the only guy that kept me in a lot of games. So I don't understand. I don't understand that pick. I really don't. But what's funny is, how they're doing the best available here, and it's kind of interesting that the best available quarterbacks, Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm, 1 and 2.
Right.
So they're once again linked together, and it looks like the Super Bowl champs picking now. See who they're going to get. Now they went offense, man, with their first 2 picks. See if they'll go offense with the second one.
Well, I'm going to tell you, since I'm already ahead of you.
You're already ahead of me.
Yeah, the answer is no.
Not. Yeah. No. Well, that's a good pick. That guy is good. Willie Gay Jr. Yeah. They need some defense up there. Heck, if they have any defense, they might win it again. I mean, heck, I thought the Edwards-Helaire pick at the end of the first round, I thought that was a big-time pickup because he can do everything that Andy Reid wants him to be able to do.
Adam, I got to tell you, we talked about the Van Jefferson pick
for the Rams.
By your team, the Rams. Van Jefferson played high school ball at Ravenwood.
Did he
high
really?
School? Yeah. So.
Well, here's what's interesting. It's interesting to me, like how it's changed since back in the day. Because when I was at Brentwood, I mean, our key sports were men's soccer, women's volleyball, and softball. And now every year they're really good in football. And I guess that's a trend as of about 10 years ago. Did you see them have like Ravenwood and those other schools? Did they kind of dilute the talent pool in the Brentwood area, or is Brentwood still sort of as dominant as they've been the last 7 years?
Well, I mean, it's usually a fight between Brentwood and Ravenwood.
Okay.
If it was back in the day, y'all would have been. I mean, Brentwood had some years of struggling, right?
Oh yeah, we were 3-7.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not very good.
I mean,
we were playing. I mean, we were in a tough tough region. I mean, we were
Right.
Franklin, Gallatin, Beach, Mount Juliet. I mean, and we're in some tough region. But still, you'd have thought, that we would be able to compete a little bit better. But I guess it just didn't happen. And then it was kind of crazy to me, like, 20 plus years later, they're all of a sudden really good. And I'm sure they're still really good at soccer. They're still really good of course, their volleyball team is phenomenal still. And I'm assuming they're probably still really good at softball also.
Yeah.
But, I guess it's cyclical, when it comes to high schools. You'll have a class come through there that's really dominant. And that's the way that it is here. I mean, you have a group of guys that comes through, and it's like maybe one or two classes is really dominant, and then you'll just kind of have a little bit of fall off and till that next crop comes through. But so high school sports it's that's why it's so interesting, because you really don't know what you're going to get from time to time. Well, we're getting kind of long on our episode tonight, so we're going to wrap it up. Paul, any last words here?
I think the New York Giants have done a pretty good job filling some needs. I think the Lions are doing a pretty good job, and obviously the Dolphins for sure. But as a Titans fan, we're gonna have to see some late round magic. Magic.
Okay, so what needs to get addressed?
I got to get an edge. I got to find an edge rusher.
Okay. All right.
I got to find one. I got to find a backup running back that can catch out of the backfield.
Okay. I mean, I think those guys are out there. I mean, I think, like I said, I think a Keyshawn Vaughn would work wonders in your backfield. I mean, I think he would play out amazing. I think he would really work in Nashville, being a local guy. I mean, he may still be around. Who knows? But yeah. All right, guys. For Paul Brees in Brentwood, Adam Freeman here in Ackworth, Georgia. You've been listening to and watching Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul on Facebook Live and Apple Podcast.